we really need to be like tapping into God, like in everything that we do. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be going on a drive, going on a vacation, going out with friends. Like sometimes, a lot of times, really, you know, God is not telling us to do the things that we do. We just do them because that's what we want to do. Like sitting at home with God, praying or reading the Bible is boring to us. You know what I'm saying? So we would rather go turn up with friends or go have a good time, or like, and then we wonder why we don't know, like we don't know 90% of the Bible. You understand what I'm saying? And one thing that we really have to understand and like hold on to is that, like, I just saw something where I don't know the outcome of this story. I don't know if they ever found this lady or what, but it just popped up on my YouTube. It was a lady from Houston, a husband and wife from Katy, Texas, the Houston area, and basically he said that they take a vacation to the Caribbean every year. They always do it every year. It's like I guess a family tradition or whatever. So they go on this vacation, and some kind of way his wife disappears, and now they can't find her. They don't know where she at. So they don't know if she went into the water and drowned, or if she got kidnapped, or you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all don't understand. Like, I watch a lot of news and stuff like that. I'm not saying to be paranoid and just scared to live your life because of stuff that goes on the news, but you got to be vigilant. You have to know what's going on out there before you go out there. And that's anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Even in your city. I always watch the news for my city. Right? And I watch the news. I watch the news, the world news, the state news, the city news. Right? There was once upon a time in my city where people was hiding up under cars, cutting people's Achilles. Achilles is, if I'm saying it right, it's like this I don't want to say ligament, but it's almost like this bone or whatever at the back of that connects like your heel to the back part of your leg. Like, you cannot really walk without that. I used to work at my job with a guy who used to get surgery done on those a lot. And every time the doctor worked on him, they made it worse and worse. His walking became worse and worse every time. And we are so focused on what we want to do that a lot of times we don't hear the voice of what God is saying to do. Right? Like, out of love, I might tell my girl, babe, I don't want you going out with your friends this weekend. I don't want you going out with your friends every weekend like this. You understand what I'm saying? I might tell her just straight out, I don't even really want you going hang out with your friends really at all no more. Because what y'all be doing really don't be nothing. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I don't expect my woman to just sit up in the house for the rest of her life and not be able to get out and do anything. But all I'm saying is tap in, check in with God first. And everything you do, I don't care if it's your drive home from work, check in with God. A lot of these women nowadays are so stuck on vacation. Party with my friends, hang out with my friends. Oh, yeah, girl, what y'all doing this weekend? Like, I get it. But at the same time, I feel like that is for the immature. That is for the, like, when you become grown, when you get to that age, you're not like, hey, let's go turn up and all that, And congratulations, for the women that don't need to go out and party and club and, you know what I'm saying? Like, and vacation all the time. Now, don't get me wrong. The U.S. is boring. It's almost like we're slaves here, trapped in this boring US. Ain't nothing here in the US. So, I mean, I'm not at all knocking getting your passport, you know what I'm saying, and going overseas. I've never been out of the US. Man, my job, I get to travel all over the world. I done seen every state. I done been to every state. It ain't nothing in the US. It ain't nothing in the US. Okay. And so I would, I can understand why people, would want to step out of the US, as often as possible. All I'm saying is, man, I was watching something the other day where it was a cruise ship, and the cruise ship got caught in some really bad waves. And it ended up, I think it was some really bad waves, and I think I told this story already. And it ended up leaning to the side, and it was leaning to the side, and it was like stuck almost. It wasn't all the way over. I don't know if it ended up tipping all the way over or what, but it was leaning way more than like a 40. It was leaning like really hard, and almost to the point where I don't know how it wasn't just laying all the way over. It was leaning way more than like a 45-degree or angle, and if I'm saying that right. And there was so much water pouring into the boat. Once that starts happening, like, it's really over. It's really over. And people are not thinking, when you up in an airplane or when you're on a boat, those are two things that scare me, right? Because the airplane, if that airplane, something happens and that airplane decides to fall, that is a long fall. You're not surviving, okay? 2, a boat. If a boat decides to sink, that is a long fall. You're not going to survive that. I mean, you have a higher chance of surviving the boat than the airplane. But for the people that don't know how to swim, right? And then you got to understand, like, what's out there in the water. Even if you do know how to swim, what's out there in the water? Is a shark gonna eat you? Is an alligator gonna eat you? Something out there in the water, some piranhas, something y'all not thinking. That's why I'm saying tap in with God. Tap in with God. God might be saying, man, I do not want you to go. You understand? But, well, I done already paid for the tickets. I do not care if I done paid for, man, that's what's wrong with a lot of us. We put the focus on the money and not God. I know y'all not looking at it like that, but that is exactly what that is. You done spent the money because that's what you wanted to do. And now God is saying, hold on, something just came up. You know what I'm saying? I need you to not go on this vacation. And in our minds, we like, nah, I'm going on this vacation. I paid for it. If God was going didn't want me to go on a vacation, he should have stopped me before I booked the vacation. And I totally get that. So I really can't even argue with that. But there are times when God has given us signs not to even pay for the trip to begin with. You know what I'm saying? But hey, I'm just throwing out scenarios. The thing is, when you love somebody, right? Because now that man has to be without his wife for the rest of his life. It's gonna hurt me more to be without my wife for the rest of my life than to lose $5,000 on a vacation. You understand what I'm saying? $5,000, you can that's a lot of money to just blow, but you can recoup that money back some kind of way. You cannot recoup the life of your wife back. Be mindful. Be mindful. Be careful. Just because it's your birthday don't mean you have to. I mean, I ain't celebrated a birthday since I was 12. Not saying that's a good thing. I didn't want it to happen that way, but don't nobody call me up and say, what you doing for your birthday? That's women. Women do that type of stuff. Ain't no dudes don't call other dudes and be like, hey bro, what you doing for your birthday? You turning up? Like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I ain't never had nobody in my family or none of my friends, you know what I'm saying, hit me up and be like, I have had some people ask me what I was doing, but women are always gonna make sure that they are doing something, especially like typically every weekend or every other weekend, every 3 weeks, and especially special occasions. You know what I'm saying? Women spend more money than dudes, like, you know, on you know, stuff. But like I say, I'm not here to knock anybody from going on vacations, because I want to go on some vacations, you know, if I get married with my lady, you know, and but it's just, you know, I guess they say men go off of logic. So my mind is always thinking about the what if, you know, and that's just how men are programmed, to be vigilant and mindful, and that is a form of protection. Like, I've had so many women tell me, well, I don't see you as a protector, because you don't know that I'm protected. I don't have to open my mouth and tell you my every thought, right? Protection is not just, oh, here comes a big bear, oh, here comes a dog, here comes a lion. Like, that's a form of protection, right? Another form of protection is, hey, babe, we're not going to go to this restaurant. We're going to go to this restaurant over here, because that area over there is a little skeptical. You know what I'm saying? We're going to go over here because it looks a little safer. That is a part of protection. But some women, now, my girlfriends, they say we all beating up over here. Gigi and Ray, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then when something happen, like, women will walk right into the fire. And then when they get to the fire, they be looking at the man like, well, y'all gonna protect us or what? Girl, he didn't even protect him. You know, protection is, and God is a protector too. And we are created in the image of God. God is a protector too. Sometimes God is protecting and guiding your footsteps, saying, hey, don't go over there. Don't go that way. Don't do this. Don't do that. You can relate that to relationships or whatever you want to relate it to. Friendships. Some of y'all got friendships that's sitting up telling y'all that y'all shouldn't be talking to this dude or that dude. But y'all need to cut them off, whether it be family, friends, whatever. People in the church. Prophet is coming along saying, yeah, God told me to tell you, you know what I'm saying, that your relationship that you in, that he ain't the one. But she ain't got nobody. And she wonder why and everybody wondering why she don't have nobody. Then again, because we don't live in this day and time, if God has something to say to you, he would say it to you. Right? Why do he got to go through your cousin and your sister and all these different people to get a message through to you? God might have been telling them that message, but they want to feel important. So girl, let me tell you what God told me to tell you. How you know God? You know Satan is a god too. The Bible says Satan is the god of this age.